Welcome back, traders. Second portion of our show, Market Movers. We'll just briefly mention Apple Computer here, blowing away estimates yesterday. The earlier show, we had talked about the 450 to 455 area with consolidation at 453. Seem to be working the upper end of that band at 455. Keep an eye, need a whole 455 to keep the Apple rally going. Moving on to our next mover, Boeing seems to be going a little bit lower today, Dennis.
Yeah, Boeing's real weak here off. Well, not super weak, but weak enough off the earnings report. They actually came out. Earnings were in line. Guidance was a little bit weaker than I think the market wanted to hear, though. Stock is trading down $1.10 right now. It's 74.23 after closing at 75.36. Keep an eye on yesterday's low at 74.60. If we open up below that, then I'd look at the next level being 74. But you never know. We're still almost an hour away from the open. So if it does open up above 74.60, that could be some initial support. But I like a better support at 74. Below that starts to open up a bit, Joel.
Yeah, Dennis, I think so. I really like the way this is looking on the pre-market charts here. We did get down to the 74. We just nicked that level earlier in the session. I've got a little bit of a bounce on it, and then going to the dailies, looking at the dailies, this thing has just been hanging over the 74 level. If in fact we take out this 74 level with some mo for 73, you better get your orders in there quick if it takes out 74.
United Technologies reporting earnings here as well, Joel. Stock is actually trading just bringing it up here. Just it's got a trade flat 77.90, but it is it's best bid 77, 78.55 is best offer, so it's kind of a wide spread. Stock just kind of hanging out flat here, so they can't totally decide whether they like the number or not. We got a lot of resistance here in the 78 area. Just looking at the chart here, a lot of right here in the last few sessions we've been topping out in these high 77s. So call it 78. If we start to get above there, then I'd start to see maybe we'll possibly break out and eventually maybe test the 80 area. But right now 78 is what I would say would put a lid on it.
Any size associated with that?
A little bit. Nothing like substantial, though, so I think it's more just a technical formation. But if we get above that 78, then I'd start to get nervous if I was short the stock.
Yeah, well, I have to. This is one time where we just are both right on the same page here, Dennis. That 78 seems to be forming a wall here. We did sneak above it on the 17th of the month, getting up to 78.22. But then the next 4 days, 5 days, been under that level. What I wanted to keep an eye on here is this 76.50 level. That was the low from yesterday. 76.47 was the low from the previous day. So, hey, pick your range, 76.5 to 78. Break out above the 78. You're right, Dennis. Could test that 80. Below the 76.5 level, I don't see much until under 76, perhaps 75.81.
Moving on here, Delta Airlines, DAL. Some of these airlines look like they're flying this morning, Joel. 990, pardon my pun, 990 is where it's trading right now after closing at 938. So they're liking the Delta report. Some of the other airlines are moving up in sympathy. Stocks like LCC, ALK are a bit higher as well. But DAL looks like there's $10 that wants to try to go up here and test. We're only a few 10 cents away from there right now, and this $10 is a big number. We kind of got above it a little bit in late June there, Joel, but you got to think 10's a big psychological number for this.
Yeah, I mean, just from a macro standpoint, you got to figure with AMR going down the tubes that people are going to have to fly something. So Delta's definitely an alternative. Been bumping up against that $10 level in the pre-market. Got as high as $9.94. So literally, let's keep an eye on that $10 level. We got up to $10.18 back in June of this year. So above that, that's the next stopping point. But you got to imagine with the stock that trades this kind of volume, moving up over 5%, there's got to be some big sellers in here.
GLW Corning reporting earnings here as well, and they're not good. The stock is actually getting killed here this morning. It's at 13.50 right now after closing at 14.62. So we've had a nice run up here over the last month and a half into earnings. Earnings come out, they disappoint. It hung out here in this 14 area for a while in the pre-market. Now it's offered at actually 13.50, which is right here on your chart as I'm pointing it out. I think it could go all the way down here to this 13 where we bottomed out here a couple of times in late December and in early January. So I think that might be where it wants to go and test. Maybe it finds a bounce off there. If it doesn't, this 1250 area gives you some support as well.
Dennis, I taught you well in technical analysis. 1341 is where we've bottomed out in the pre-market. That's coinciding with support on your chart here at 1350. After that, $13 here we come, coming back on the upside now that we've taken out this $14 level with quite a bang here. That will be your major resistance over the next few days.
Lots of earnings reports here, Joel. COP reporting as well, which is ConocoPhillips. Stock is trading up pretty significantly, so not all the earnings reports are bad here. Well, Apple was good too, but COP is having a pretty good morning here, trading 71.77 after closing at 70.61. So stock is getting a nice lift. I look at the 72 area. You can see it bottomed here in late December a couple of times, went back up a few weeks, 2 weeks ago there, kind of topped out in the high 71. So I'd use this 72. That's actually where we're trading right now in the pre-market at 72. So that might give you a little bit of resistance.
Yeah, I have to agree. And there's between 72 and 74, there's not a whole lot of resistance. The only thing I can give you is the pre-market high so far at 72.20. Coming back on the downside, boy, 70. Whew, that was a good number. It was surely a good number yesterday as it hit 72 or 70.02 and bounced. So longer term, as long as this stock stays above the $70 level, it's in good shape to perhaps go up and test that $74 level.
Moving right along here, we'll move on to WLP, which is WellPoint, one of your health insurance or healthcare provider companies. Stock actually getting beat up here pretty good. It came out with earnings. They weren't decent. I wonder if a little bit of nervousness and some stuff that maybe President Obama said last night as well. Stock is trading at $66 here right now after closing at $69.40. So it's basically filled this entire run where it ran up from in late December back to the 66. Major support down here in the 63.75 to 64 area. But maybe you get some initial support. It looks like you are in the pre-market at least at 66. Although we went quite a bit lower in the pre-market as well, Joel, in the initial reports here.
Yeah, Dennis, we actually went to that level you mentioned. We went to 64 on the dot. So once again, you people that are waking up and seeing this stock down 340, has actually been on a $2 rally. So 66 really seems to be consolidating here. I'd use that as your swing number. If 66 can hold, your next minor support would be at 65, and then I'm sure anywhere near the $64 level, someone that yanked it, sold it there in the pre-market, maybe looking to buy it back in at 64 level. There's also 3 lows going back to November in that area. So 64 is major, and then get some consolidation around 66. If in fact it can get back and hold the 66 level, you have a gap to fill up to 69, but sure doesn't look like it's going there today.
Xerox reported earnings here, actually announcing a stock share repurchase program as well. So they're trying to give their stock a lift, which it is doing this morning. The stock is trading at $8.84 after closing at $8.67. Yesterday's high, $8.75. It's trading above there. I'd look at these 3 tops here. Joel will probably point those out as being some resistance. I'll leave the number for him. He can point it out because I know he's thinking about it. I don't want to take his whole show away. But yeah, if we get above there, then we start to look at that $9 area.
Yep, and then after that, probably 901. No, you got 4 tops here, Dennis. 875 to 884. Currently trading at 884. So this thing could be mounting a breakout here. I don't know what you consider a breakout in a $9 stock, but it's sure knocking on the door here. I'd like to see it hold this 880 level throughout the pre-market and then perhaps test 9. This stock has not traded over $9 since August this year, made a high at 907. And then you had a big down day previously. So after 907, things open up a little bit. But I'm sure you'll see a lot of size in this thing at 901, all the way up to the 907, and needing to hold the 880 on the downside.
General Dynamics reporting earnings as well. Joel, that symbol GD. Stock is actually trading down 70.39, so it's trading down about a buck after closing at 71.34. Hard to say. I think you could get some initial support here at the 70. We bottomed out there a couple of times there in mid-December towards, actually that was earlier this year, and early January we bottomed out a couple of times at the 70. So maybe you find a little bit of initial support there. But we've had a heck of a run here too. A lot of these, I'm seeing the same story. A lot of these stocks have had a pretty good runs into these earnings reports, and they're selling off on them, besides Apple, that is. But General Dynamics, same things. Had a nice run up, giving back a little bit on the report.
Yeah, you've had a run from 54 over to 72, basically, almost a 20-point run. You could easily see the stock come back and trade, in the lower 60s and still consider it to be, in a bullish pattern. I see that 70 as a stopping point. There was a couple lows there back in January 12th and 13th, so keep a real close eye on the 70 level. This thing was just drifting in the pre-market. It hit a low at 71, bounced up to 71.80, and then they came in and whacked it this morning. At 70 level, after that 70 level, we got a gap to fill in this thing between 68.48 and 68.99. So not a real heavily traded issue. You probably get some pretty good volatility under 70.
We can't go through them all here today, Joel. There's just so many earnings reports. So, other ones reporting were Abbott Labs, ABT, HES, I believe, is due out. SO is reporting, STJ, OXY. So there's a lot of stocks there. We don't have time to go through them all. So just make sure if you are trading today, make sure your company, if you're trading a stock, know if it reported or if it didn't. Check the pre-market action. And other than that, what I'm seeing overall, just my overall take on the market, I'm seeing airlines stronger with that Delta report. I'm seeing those healthcare providers weaker with that WLP report. And I'm seeing your tech stocks surprisingly not that strong off your Apple numbers. I would have thought tech would be having a really good day today, and really most of your tech stocks are flat besides the Apple. That's my overall take. Anything you want to close with, Joel?
Yeah, we're currently trading 1308 and a quarter. That's our daily swing number. Going up, this 1311 to 1311.50 level is a major swing area. You had 4 closes in there. We get back above and hold this 1150 area. We should be poised to go up and test the Globex high. Coming back on the downside, this 1305.50. That was a soft number for me. I don't put a lot of significance in it. If that can't hold, look for a test of Tuesday's low at 1301.50. That's our show for today, folks. I hope it's been informative, and let's see if Apple can carry the day.